In this video, I'm going to be going over 2 reasons why I enjoy dividend investing. And I am primarily a dividend investor. In my income portfolio, I own SCHD, or the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. It is a very popular ETF among dividend investors. And I also own JEPI, or the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. This is also a very popular income ETF among dividend investors. It pays monthly. And in my growth portfolio, I own VIG, the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, and also QQQ, the Invesco QQQ Trust, and that is an ETF that tracks the NASDAQ 100. It is not considered a dividend ETF, although it does pay a small dividend. This ETF pretty much consists of about 24 to 25% of my portfolio, and then the other 75% are those dividend ETFs that I just stated above. And before I get into the 2 reasons why I love dividend investing so much, if you could give this video a like if you appreciate this content, that'll help this content get out there to a wider audience. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing for future content. So let's jump right into reason number 1 of why I love dividend investing so much. And it is because dividend investing is the easiest and also most reliable source of passive income, in my opinion. If you see that this is my dividend history here, and you see every single month without fail, I am getting paid a dividend, and then in certain months, SCHD pays me a dividend quarterly. And again, this is passive income that I don't have to do anything for. As long as I buy the ETF and I continue to contribute over time, these dividends will grow more and more, and also these dividends will also grow because the dividend growth aspect to them. And taking a look at the history in my growth portfolio, you see the same history, just dividend after dividend. And this is going to be a little bit different because VIG and QQQ pay quarterly, but it's pretty much the same premise where I just get paid a dividend every so often. And if you look here, the dividend increases over time as well due to dividend growth and contributions. And I really want to drive home the point that this is income that I don't work for. I'm not out there doing anything for it. And now compare dividend investing to multiple other forms of passive income ideas out there, and you'll see that most forms of passive income require a lot of upfront work, and sometimes they won't even pan out, and often a lot of people lack the resources to even earn some passive income. So for example, passive income idea number 3 is rental income. A lot of people out there don't have the capital to go buy a rental property to rent out their real estate. So that is pretty much out for a lot of people. Create a course and write an online ebook. That is going to require quite a bit of upfront work. And that is also going to be under the premise that you actually have some thought that you can write about to get out there, and people will want to buy the ebook or take part in your course. A lot of these ideas do require quite a bit of work. So flip retail products. You're basically going out to garage sales or to Walmart and then finding some arbitrage opportunity where you can sell it via eBay or Shopify. Sell photography online, pretty much the same idea as the other ones, in which point it takes a lot of upfront work. And just going down this list, I think a lot of these ideas are just not really applicable to most people. Like create an app, most people don't have the programming skills to do that, and if you're going to pay somebody, it's going to cost thousands of dollars. Rent out a parking space, a lot of people don't own a parking space to rent out. You pretty much just see this with a lot of passive income ideas that are pushed online and on YouTube, that it is so easy to just go about these income ideas, and even here create a blog or YouTube channel. That's what I'm doing right now, and I wouldn't even really call the income passive income because, I do earn, a few dollars per video, and then it trails for a couple days after that. But these videos take quite a bit of upfront work, about an hour to 2 hours, and then I earn maybe like $5 to $10 per video. It pretty much doesn't really pay for itself, and a lot of people may not consider it worth it unless you are just doing it as a hobby. And just going back, compare that to all of these dividends, which you don't even have to put any thought into at all. It is all of these companies that are just paying you every single dividend cycle, whether that be quarterly or monthly, without fail. And compare all of those passive income ideas to these ETFs, which all consist of pretty much extremely well-established businesses that have millions of customers already, and they are going to be diversified. If one of your income streams don't work out from making passive income, like if you create maybe a blog or an ebook and nobody wants it, you're not going to get anything out of it. But these companies already do have an established base, and it doesn't really matter too much what the economy is doing or if you put any work into it at all. These will pay you without fail. And moving into reason number 2 why I love dividend investing, and I think a lot of new dividend investors probably don't consider this too much, but dividend growth is an extremely important thing when it comes to dividend investing. A lot of people only concentrate on yield, but if your time horizon is long, dividend growth is a major factor in future passive income. So let's take a quick look of the dividend history of SCHD, which is, I believe, the second most popular dividend ETF by assets under management, just to give you an idea of dividend growth over time. Just keep your eye on this cash amount column here and see how that grows compared to the ex-dividend date. That is the date when they basically say what the dividend is going to be. And just keep your eye on how much this grows over the years. And again, most of these dividend increases over time are going to be increases quite a bit faster than the rate of inflation. And I kind of love seeing my dividend growth being, 8, 9, 10%. And then my employment, if I'm not job hopping, will only give me raises of 3 to 5%. Meanwhile, my dividend paying companies, my dividend paying ETFs are going well beyond that and are reliably paying me anywhere between around like 8 to 10% year over year on average. And I think that that is great to see. And I just want to kind of show you what this means as a dividend investor if you get in early. So this just goes to show the power of dividend growth. And what I did is I did a price per share of SCHD of $100 and a dividend per share of $3. That keeps it at about 3%, which is currently the rough yield of SCHD right now. So for numbers' sake, I just use round numbers to pretty much just make it easier for you to follow along. And year 0, as I said, it currently pays a dividend of $3. So your yield on cost is going to be 3%. And what yield on cost is just your price that you paid for the share, and then divide that by your cash that you're going to receive. So that is just going to be 3%. Pretty simple formula overall. Now here comes the magic, basically, and that is what happens to that initial $100 and that yield on cost. So year 1, with that average annual dividend growth rate of 8%, your dividend is going to increase by 24 cents, but that price that you paid per share will still remain the same in year 0. So this doesn't account for contributions. This is only the initial stock that you buy. So that initial $100 is now paying you $3.24, which is a yield on cost of 3.24%. Now let's drag that down and see what happens over time. And I think you'll see that that yield on cost really starts to work for you. So that $100 of SCHD that you bought today, in 15 years, it's going to be paying you 9.52% on your money. And I know a lot of people don't want to wait around that long, but just think of how incredible that is if you're somebody that's, 20, 25, or even 30. And then by the time they're, in their 30s or 40s, they're going to be getting a 9.52% on their money that they invested in SCHD today. And that is pretty much my strategy when it comes to my income portfolio, particularly SCHD. JEPI works in a bit of a different way, but SCHD is meant for my dividend growth. And as I add more and pretty much time just goes on, my dividend yield on cost and my overall dividends will increase without me even needing to contribute. Now I'm going to contribute anyway, and that will just magnify the effect, but it will grow over time even without me doing that. And just to show you with a real world example, I earned $545.54 over the past year from SCHD dividends. So hypothetically, let's say I don't contribute anymore over that time, and for some reason my dividends aren't even reinvested. I basically just throw them to the wind. And this is just going to show how that $545 will grow over 15 years. And you see that that $545.54 becomes $1,730.55. And again, that is without dividend reinvestment, and that is not even contributing any more of my paycheck to SCHD over that time frame. And of course, that isn't going to happen, but as you can see, even without doing those things, the amount of dividends I get will increase over time. Let me know in the comments section below why you invest in dividends. Maybe it is for supplemental income. Maybe it's for some of the reasons I already said. Maybe it is because dividend investing is even less volatile. Whatever the reason, please let me know. Again, if you did appreciate this content, leave this video a like to get this content out there to a wider audience. And if you're not already subscribed and you have already watched this far, please consider subscribing for future content to keep up to date on future videos. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.